Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for today's in-depth ChatGPT 4o workshop. My name is Liz Rich, and I am joined by Dana Neres, and we both work for the Feliciano Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at Montclair State University. And we are just so excited that you joined us here today. I see a lot of you joining us in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to start in just a minute, but I first wanted to cover some rules for this workshop. So please make sure you're checking the chat. I think it's listed as comments. It's a little bit different than Zoom. So just please make sure you're looking at the chat for the rules of engagement first off, and how to be a respectful participant for this workshop. And also, please use the comments, please use the chat to add your questions. And we are going to be answering as many questions as we can at the end of the workshop. Okay, so we're going to save all of your questions till the end, but please make sure you're putting them into the chat. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to our ChatGPT experts and our workshop leads, Tog Samfel and Jeffrey Torres. So Tog and Jeff are going to introduce themselves and tell you more about our agenda. So Tog and Jeff, over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Liz and Dana. And again, thank you to the FCE&E plus and I at Montclair University for this opportunity to share our overall insight on today's chat. Tog.
Hey, everybody. My name is Tog Sanfel. And again, Liz and Dana, thank you very much for introducing us. I'm really excited to be here today because Jeffrey and I, we are excited to share with you our experiences with ChatGPT 4o and what it can do. Just as a quick intro for myself, I'm founder of AnyTongs. I started this company with a kitchen tool that I invented that won a deal on Shark Tank last year. I'm excited to share how I've been using AnyTongs for my business, personal life, and more.
Of course, and today we're gonna have a breath of fresh ideas, and we have the honor of having Gabriela, the founder of Solano, which is gonna be having a fireside chat with ChatGPT 4o. And yes, you're hearing it correct. We're gonna have a fireside chat with 4o today, which is gonna be super innovative. And just to give you a full draft of the agenda, to be very transparent, the focal points that Gabriela will be speaking about will be two topics. Topic number one will be focused on overall web content. I know that each one of us probably has a website, probably wants to refresh their website or rebrand themselves. I know that, for example, Verizon recently had a rebrand. They had a full agency buy this. Imagine you having 4o as your agency. For tone of voice, for colors, all of that will be covered with Gabriela. And then on the second topic is, hey, what are fresh ideas, fresh video ideas, and fresh content that you can put on TikTok? So overall, we'll be sharing that. And I guess I missed. So my name is also Jeffrey Torres, and I'm a marketing leader at IBM. Of course, with everything in my mind, I forgot to introduce myself, but I think that would be a good intro to something special we have for you. And I'll have Tog introduce someone that we have very special, which I think you would enjoy seeing as well, that we'll be demoing.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeffrey.
So right now, we'll be introducing ChatGPT 4o live right now. And the goal here is to really showcase 4o live. And we'll be kind of having 4o introduce itself, and at the same time, asking 4o questions that we want to be able to address during this live. And of course, please know that Tog, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it. I was just mentioning that there's a little technical snag, and I'm just gonna be getting.
I was just mentioning that we are live, y'all. So of course, you know, we have full control, but of course, there's Wi-Fi issues, and sometimes it might lag. So bear with us on that. But know that we are on it.
Jeffrey, let me just check on this. Are you able to see ChatGPT up, or are you seeing my home screen?
We're seeing your home screen right now.
Okay.
And please know, just about maybe 60 seconds ago, this was fully up and fully live. So it would happen now when we're live, but you know what makes for a great talk show if there's not something happening that's non-technical. Um, but again, let me, I guess, as Chog is on that, let me just share some moments, and again, kind of drifting the agenda just a tad on, hey, when you think about 4o, don't only think about 4o from a perspective of professional, right, or your business. I'll give you an example. I recently went, to one of my the bike shop here in Tenafly, Fusion Cycles, and they said, "Hey Jeff, can you go get us a wine?" Now they're very bougie, so they like drinking Caymus wine. As I was walking to the liquor store to actually go buy the wine, I said, "Hey, let me just ask for is there a quality of Caymus wine that has the same quality? Is there a quality of wine that has the same elegance as Caymus, same qualities as Caymus, but maybe even cheaper?" And not only did it give me one, it gave me 3 wines. And then from those 3 wines, I said, "Hey, from the wine review, which one has the best review?" I was able to save $40 on that bottle of wine, one, and I was able to get a quality wine. So again, that's from the personal side. A very kind of like, hey, how do I save myself some money? Information that I probably did not know. I probably would have Googled it, but Googling it would have probably taken a long time. That I was able to get on a walk that was probably took me 2 minutes to get there. So again, from a perspective, don't only think about it from a professional side, also think it from a personal side. So you use it on your day to day. And perfect. So I'll let you get started.
Awesome. Well, nice segue, Jeffrey. Appreciate that. So now that we're up, I want to just mention really quickly that part of this presentation that we're doing, we really want to kind of just demonstrate, really how you can interact with 4o very casually. And what's really, really awesome about this, and you're going to kind of see this, is that ChatGPT 4o also recognizes multiple people in a conversation. So it recognizes our voices. It can tell the difference about who's speaking, who's addressing ChatGPT, and respond accordingly. So this is something that's kind of fun, and we're just going to do this live. And what happens, happens. So let's give it a shot.
Let's do it.
So I've got GPT open. We're going to go open up the voice. Hey, ChatGPT. You're on a live webcast here. My name is Tog Samfel, and I'm here with my partner, Jeffrey Torres, and we're going to just be asking you some questions. And in this live webcast, do you want to just kind of give yourself a quick intro?
Hi, everyone. I'm ChatGPT, an AI developed by OpenAI, here to assist you with any questions or topics you want to dive into. I'm great at understanding natural language and can help with a wide range of topics, from technical details about AI and machine learning to everyday advice and general knowledge. Looking forward to our chat today.
ChatGPT, question. Can you give us examples of how a small business in this day and age can utilize your technology?
Absolutely. Small businesses can use AI like me in several ways. 1, customer support. Automate responses to common customer inquiries, freeing up time and ensuring quick 24/7 support. 2, marketing assistance. Generate ideas for social media posts, blogs, and ads, and even analyze customer engagement to refine marketing strategies. 3, data analysis. Help interpret sales data, customer feedback, and other business metrics to make informed decisions. 4, personalized recommendations. Offer personalized product recommendations to customers, enhancing their shopping experience and potentially increasing sales. 5, content creation. Assist in drafting emails, newsletters, and other content, ensuring it's professional and engaging. These are just a few examples of how AI can streamline operations improve customer interactions, and drive growth for small businesses.
Whoa, that was a lot. ChatGPT, thank you so much for sharing that. Something in particular is that there's been a lot of hype around GPT-4o versus the previous version. Can you just highlight what specifically is different with this new version?
And keep it simple.
Sure. GPT 4.0 has a few key improvements over the previous version. 1. Better understanding. It understands context more accurately, making conversations more coherent and relevant. 2. Enhanced creativity. It generates more creative and nuanced responses, which can be really useful for content creation and brainstorming. 3. Improved multitasking. It can handle multiple tasks and topics more efficiently in a single conversation. These upgrades make GPT 4.0 more powerful and versatile for a wide range of applications.
So I'm going to stop this here. And while this may have not been something that's been super, complex, and we're just really demonstrating a simple conversation, but a key point here is to understand that whatever you feed the AI now is what's incredible about it is that this isn't something where there's one type of input now, where you have to constantly type, you have to be in front of a computer or a screen. This is something where you can really just have a casual conversation with it. So there's going to be a lot of examples where you can just load this with any kind of information or data that you have or a website. And you can be in any circumstance where you've got your headphones on and you can just have a constant conversation with it, asking about whatever subject matter of interest. So this is pretty remarkable.
And so I love that you mentioned that, because one of the things that, as you see, it was able to capture not only Tog's voice, but my voice as well. And we are in two separate locations, and it's Tog's phone, but it's still able to capture my voice. So imagine you having your group of, let's say, workers, or your group of just researchers around you, and you're brainstorming. Having 4o there, kind of listen in and try to understand, like, what is it that you want to get to, and really kind of go through each person's idea. And it doesn't necessarily need to be an organized idea, just an overall, just kind of a spectrum or ecosystem of the idea, and just communicating with it allows for it to be able to capture the information and really analyze it and bring something into fruition that you can probably get started with. If that's maybe, hey, like, what's our next spring campaign or winter campaign is going to look like, you can be able to mold something just by sharing information with it, or just having a simple conversation of something that you were very passionate about.
And Jeffrey, you mentioned that you were using this to on a quick wine run that you were having. Was this how you interacted with ChatGPT?
It was one of the ways. I think that, I personally, I'm starting to use it on my day to day. So I had mentioned to you the atomic habit. And in order to make something a habit, you need to use it just regularly. So it might be, hey, like, can you share with me some motivation words that I can maybe put on my LinkedIn or share on my Instagram? And it's able to share quotes that I didn't even know. So I have a thing now that I have a quote a day coming from ChatGPT that I write down, and I try to have that mantra throughout the day. So again, really utilizing 4o in my day to day allows me that when I need to use it for my professional, hey, I know who to go to. It's almost like having a friend that is an assistant almost. So
absolutely. I mean, outside, I know this is really about business, and we just can't help ourselves. I actually use this for some personal situations as well. For myself, I take some long drives, and while I'm driving, one of the ways that I can kind of stay awake and stay alert is actually having a conversation with someone. You've got a passenger in the car. You engage with them. They're asking you questions, and these are the kind of things that just keeps you awake and alert. And one great way is I hook it up to Apple CarPlay. I have it running, and I let it know that I'm going for a drive, and let's just ask me questions, ask me entertaining questions. Understand who I am. How would you go about this? and you can go on for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, and just having a conversation, so it's really it's amazing that it can be used for those reasons.
So I recall this conversation you told me. You said it has some type of jokes that I think the audience would like to hear about that. You said it shared, I think, dad jokes with you.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of dad jokes. So, I could hear those all day long, and it just kept going on and on and on with all these different types of dad jokes. So it was entertaining for the car ride for sure.
It's like almost you're creating your own podcast with you and ChatGPT 4o.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. And
Okay. No, sorry, Tom.
yeah, I was just going to mention that it's something I want to share, that how I recently have been using ChatGPT 4o is not necessarily so much for creating assets, but anything where you need to learn something, or you need additional information, or anything that you want to prep for. For instance, when I have contracts with my company with Anytongs, any kind of contract, one way that it works great is I load the contracts into ChatGPT. And when I do that, I'll have a conversation with it. ChatGPT understands everything. It goes through every bit of it, every corner of the contract. And any questions you might have, or you can even ask it to say, hey, give me a summary of what this is. What should I be concerned about? What should I be worried about? What doesn't look good, etc. And it'll just have a normal conversation with you and let you know everything that you need. So it's a great resource for these kinds of things. Other things, right? If you have it hooked up to any of your large spreadsheets, right? These are things, again, you can have casual conversations with it, right? Not necessarily for creating output, but in order for you to just be in any casual situation, have a conversation like an actual person, and it's going to be an expert in whatever you feed it.
Toke, I love that you said that, because one of the things that I recently did was I grabbed the random business reviews on Google. And at first I thought, oh, I'm going to have to copy all the reviews. Negative. I can literally grab the link of that Google review, and I'm able to drop it into ChatGPT 4o and have it say, hey, can you analyze and give me what are the best to least reviews, and really segment them in the way that could improve my business. Or can you do a SWOT analysis with these reviews? And it was able to not only do that, but recommend, things that I can do to perfect, let's say, the negative reviews, or keep improving areas that I didn't even know or that existed for that particular business. So just in that complex way of just looking at it and just saying, hey, just can you check this for me? Can you analyze this for me? It's able to do that. And all you have to do is a copy of a link, which has simplified a lot more from the previous one, just because I believe in the previous one, I had to really go in and copy the full link, the full reviews.
Absolutely. Yeah. The ability to actually scour and scan websites directly, it was a big game changer. So really any kind of news article, any kind of complex study that's been published online, if you have the link, you have someone who can summarize everything, and you can, again, just literally have a human conversation with it, so that you can learn whatever or understand anything that you feed it in a way that is right for you. And it's very digestible, and it's always going to be there.
Yeah. I think one of the last things I'll add is, sometimes what's occurring in the business is either or because it's occurring in your personal, right? It starts with you, and how you behave is how essentially the business will behave. So sometimes even sharing what's going on in your life, so that it's able to really understand, like, I understand why that problem might be existing, and maybe these are ways that we could try to fix that issue, or try to recommend an issue. So starting very personable and being very intimate with it, as in a way to connect and really understand. There's ways to just have, as Toke mentioned, just to have a simple conversation with it, just as you would with a human, and then analyze it and integrate it into your professional or business side. But I think that With that said, I think we can now transition to our next step. Toga, unless you have something more to say, but I think that I'm looking for drum rolls here
Jeffrey,
for
you're gonna
to
have to
show.
stop me. You're gonna
Yeah,
have to stop me. I can go all day, but definitely
no,
we gotta get this moving.
no, you know why? I think it's because we've been chatting about like how to interact with it, how to really take that professional or that personal side. But we have someone, I'll let you introduce her, Toke, but I think we have someone very special to not only the center, but also to just overall us, because this individual has showcased just the elegance that she has for her business, and also just overall the execution that she wants to do. Knowing that she was probably new to ChatGPT 4o, she was able to adapt to it very quickly. And today we're gonna have a fireside chat with Gabriela from Solano. But Tog, I'll let you introduce.
Yeah. Please, welcome Gabriela. Really amazing entrepreneur, founder of Solano, and I gotta give you a shout out. Gabriela won our pitch competition at FCE&I.
Yes.
Congratulations again, and
Thank you.
please, Gabriela, I'm not gonna do you justice. Please introduce yourself. Tell us about your business.
Thank you so much for a beautiful introduction. Thank you, Jeffrey Talk, and to Montclair Ignite Entrepreneur for having me and for this opportunity to help me amplify the voice of Solano. My name is Gabriela Tutalo. I'm the founder of Solano X, a company that promotes sophisticated and stylish handcrafts by artisans and designers in Mexico. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Gabriela. So, Gabriela, should we kick off with the fireside chat with 4o?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we'll let you get started, Gabriela, and we'll be here for any questions or just any assistance. But I think as we first started from the agenda, you'll be introducing 4o to your business and a little bit about what you want to accomplish when it comes to your voice for your website as new content. Correct?
Okay. So here we go. I'm going to send the website first, my link on my website.
And just so everyone understands what's actually happening here, so Gabriela is sending ChatGPT a link to our website first, so it understands and has that in its memory. And starting from that is how Gabriela is going to start interacting with ChatGPT 4o.
And just to give a heads up, she's also okay.
Sorry. Hey,
Okay.
basically in the website that I send you, would you be able to help me with the tone of voice on my website? I need to communicate our mission, vision, and values of my business in a conversational way with a message that connects with our ethical shoppers in the most persuasive, engaging, and compelling way that when someone visits our website and reads about it, she or he feels that we are talking to them in a genuine way. I need to transfer to our audience what exactly we do when we work with the artisans, our journey and the experience that we have when we bring to our customers the traditions and how artisans enjoy doing their artisanal techniques that many times are passed down by generations, and the behind process of put high quality product to the fingerprint of our customers could be sometimes challenged. Some artisans don't have internet. Sometimes we have to wait to talk to the female artisans because it's still sexist in small communities. The transportation challenge to go to the mountains where some small towns are in little wars between them, and they ask us for ID, making the commerce for artisans more difficult. tell me how should I communicate in my website the sustainability social impact when even though the handmade is slow production, the materials are resourced in the communities of artisans. It can be flowers, materials that they had used for generations to sustain their families. I want to make an invitation also to corporates to let us bring joy to their employees by sharing their experience when something is made with love, to reward for being part of their team and help their business succeed. So we want an exchange of joy between consumers, corporates, and artisans. But we need to communicate this in our website. I will give you my vision. Is be to go to source for authentic Mexican handcrafts, where cultural heritage and modern opportunities blend harmoniously, preserving the human touch. And our mission is bringing joy through unique, high quality Mexican handcrafts products. We empower artisans to shape their future while offering our customers one of a kind items that celebrate talent, heritage, and rich stories. Our core values are be creative and have fun, integrity, continuous self improvement, customer orientation, collaboration, empowerment, and sustainability and social impact. So it's thinking.
Absolutely.
Well,
Here's how you might communicate your mission, vision, and values in a conversational and engaging way on your website. Our journey and mission. At Solano XP, we're more than a marketplace for Mexican handcrafts. We're a bridge connecting cultures, traditions, and stories. When you buy from us, you're not just getting a product, you're becoming a part of a beautiful journey that spans generations. Our mission, we bring joy through unique, high-quality Mexican handcrafts. By empowering artisans, we offer you one-of-a-kind items that celebrate talent, heritage, and rich stories. We strive to be your go-to source for authentic Mexican crafts, where cultural heritage and modern opportunities blend harmoniously, preserving the human touch. Our vision, to be the go-to source for authentic Mexican handcrafts, where cultural heritage and modern opportunities blend harmoniously, preserving the human touch. Our values. We live by these core values: creativity and fun. We infuse joy into everything we do. Integrity. We maintain honesty and strong moral principles in all our interactions. Continuous self-improvement. We are always learning and growing. Right. Customer orientation. Your satisfaction is our priority. Collaboration. We believe in the power of working together. Empowerment. We empower our artisans to shape their futures. Sustainability and social impact. We are committed to making a positive impact on our planet and society. The artisan stories, working with artisans, is at the heart of what we do. Many of these artisans have honed their craft through skills passed down by generations. Their work is a labor of love, often created in small, remote villages where modern conveniences like the internet are scarce. Visiting these artisans can be an adventure, sometimes requiring long journeys into the mountains and navigating small communities with their own unique challenges. But every trip is worth it as we bring back high-quality products that tell a story. Sustainability and social impact. Each piece you purchase supports sustainable practices. Our materials are locally sourced, often from the very communities where the artisans live. This not only sustains their families, but also preserves their traditional ways of life. An invitation to corporates. We also invite corporations to share in this joy. Let us help you bring unique, handmade products to your employees, creating a rewarding experience that celebrates craftsmanship and tradition. By supporting us, you're fostering a connection that brings joy to consumers, corporates, and artisans alike. Does this capture the tone and message you want to convey?
Yes, and I would like that you add something that set us from other businesses that may sell similar products. Solano is not a non-profit organization, neither a co-funded business or started the business because the founder saw a market opportunity and decided to start selling products. This is a self-funded business that started when the founder was born and raised in a small town of Puebla, Mexico, surrounded by artisans, and she saw the struggles and how her mother used to help the artisans all the time. She put it as a project in the university and investigate the logistics and everything involved to export things to other countries. She also learned a second language that was necessary to negotiate. And could you help me please to communicate this in our website as well in a conversational way that connects with our audience, with our tone of voice of the brand?
Of course. Here's an enhanced version that includes the unique backstory of the founder, our journey and mission. At Solano XP, we're more than a marketplace for Mexican handcrafts. We're a bridge connecting cultures, traditions, and stories. When you buy from us, you're not just getting a product, you're becoming a part of a beautiful journey that spans generations. Our mission: we bring joy through unique, high-quality Mexican handcrafts. By empowering artisans, we offer you one-of-a-kind items that celebrate talent, heritage, and rich stories. We strive to be your go-to source for authentic Mexican crafts, where cultural heritage and modern opportunities blend harmoniously, preserving the human touch. Our vision: to be the go-to source for authentic Mexican handcrafts, where cultural heritage and modern opportunities blend harmoniously, preserving the human touch. Our values: we live by these core values: creativity and fun. We infuse joy into everything we do. Integrity: we maintain honesty and strong moral principles in all our interactions. Continuous self-improvement: we are always learning and growing. Customer orientation: your satisfaction is our priority. We believe in the power of working together. Empowerment: we empower our artisans to shape their futures. Sustainability and social impact: we are committed to making a positive impact on our planet and society. Our unique story: Solano XP isn't just another business. Our story begins in a small town in Puebla, Mexico, where our founder grew up surrounded by artisans. Witnessing their struggles firsthand and seeing how her mother continually supported them inspired her. She transformed this passion into a university project, diving deep into the logistics of exporting crafts and learning the necessary languages to negotiate internationally. The artisan stories: working with artisans is at the heart of what we do. And many of these artisans have honed their craft through skills passed down by generations. Their work is a labor of love, often created in small, remote villages where modern conveniences like the internet are scarce. Visiting these artisans can be an adventure, sometimes requiring long journeys into the mountains and navigating small communities with their own unique challenges. But every trip is worth it as we bring back high-quality products that tell a story. Sustainability and social impact: each piece you purchase supports sustainable practices. Our materials are locally sourced, often from the very communities where the artisans live. This not only sustains their families, but also preserves their traditional ways of life. An invitation to corporates: we also invite corporations to share in this joy. Let us help you bring unique handmade products to your employees, creating a rewarding experience that celebrates craftsmanship and tradition. By supporting us, you're fostering a connection that brings joy to consumers, corporates, and artisans alike. How does this updated version feel?
Yes, I like it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you liked it. If you need any more help with your website or anything else, feel free to ask.
Yes, actually, I would like to ask you also for ideas for videos. I will send you links. Give me 1 minute.
So in the meantime, Gabriella's, and just to give you some context now, Gabriella's going to share some videos and YouTube and TikTok videos that she has previously done, so that 4o can have an example of what she shared in the past and some new ideas that it could refine. But I see in the comments we're and Gabriela, maybe at the end we'll tap into it. You know, individuals are asking, you know, for you to ask ChatGPT-4 on recommendations. Sorry, we can tap into those questions at the end. I went on mute for a second.
Okay. Okay. So I send you some link of videos that I have done in Instagram and LinkedIn. Now, could you give me better ideas of videos that connect and communicate better with my audience? I don't want to sound like everyone else or very salesy or one more brand in the market. I want to communicate like our unique products and put unique content as well that can help us increase the interest of persons that appreciate quality craftsmanship with social impact. And of course, that increase our sales.
Absolutely. Here are some ideas for creating engaging and unique video content that can help communicate your brand's values and connect with your audience. 1. Artisan stories. Create short documentaries or interview-style videos showcasing the artisans behind your products. Share their personal stories, their crafting process, and what their work means to them. 2. Behind the scenes. Show the journey of a product from raw materials to the finished piece. Highlight the challenges and joys of sourcing materials, the crafting process, and the logistics involved in getting the products to customers. 3. Cultural heritage. Share videos that delve into the cultural significance of the crafts. Explain the history and traditions behind specific techniques or materials and how they are preserved through your products. 4. Customer stories. Feature testimonials or stories from customers who have purchased your products. Show how the products are used or displayed in their homes and what it means to them. 5. Sustainability impact. Create videos that explain your commitment to sustainability. Show how your sourcing and production processes positively impact the environment and the communities you work with. 6. Collaborations and partnerships. Highlight any collaborations with other brands, artists, or influencers. Showcase the unique products that result from these partnerships and the creative process behind them. 7. DIY and tutorials. Offer tutorials on how to use or style your products. For example, if you sell textiles, show different ways to use them in home decor. 8. Live events. Host live sessions where you interact with artisans, demonstrate crafting techniques, or simply chat with your audience. This can create a more personal connection with your brand. 9. Giveaways and contests. Engage your audience with interactive content like giveaways or contests. Encourage them to share their own stories or photos of your products. 10. Day in the life. Share a day in the life video of an artisan or someone from your team. This can provide a personal touch and give viewers an insider look at your operations. Creating content that is genuine, informative, and visually appealing will help differentiate your brand and resonate with your audience.
Thank you. I like it. Any suggestions of the length of the video, like how many minutes or seconds you recommend the most?
The optimal video length depends on the platform. TikTok and Instagram Reels aim for 15 to 60 seconds. These platforms favor short, engaging content that quickly grabs attention. Keep these under 15 seconds per story slide. You can use multiple slides for a longer story. IGTV videos can be up to 10 minutes, but the first minute should be very engaging to retain viewers. YouTube, or for more detailed content, videos can be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the complexity of the topic. Short, impactful videos work best on social media, while longer, more in-depth videos are better suited for platforms like YouTube.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So, Gabriela, how do you feel?
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, feel free to reach out. Good luck with your videos and connecting with your audience.
I feel like he's very kind, ChatGPT, and he give me a lot of ideas that sometimes as an entrepreneur or a small business, you feel like you are in the everyday operation, but sometimes your creativity goes away because you are on top of many things at the same time, and that creates a lack of what ChatGPT just told me. Oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can, for example, I like it the part that I can ask my customers a review, like in a video or something, or use their testimonials.
Mhm.
So that's a great idea.
And how did you feel like when you were speaking to it? Like, did you feel comfortable? Like, was it capturing everything you were saying? Like, I know we were all listening to you right now, but like from your point of view.
Um, I feel that it was like a person. In the beginning, very strange, but amazing how a machine can have all these knowledge and how fast can help us. Now I know that even with a very, very small team, you can do great things, a lot of things.
And with the ideas that it shared, did it like blossom other ideas? Like, did other ideas come up from, like, let's say the list of ideas that it just gave you for the videos? Were you able to kind of come back to that creative mindset and like think of other ideas?
Yes, yes, definitely. When I was talking and tell me all these ideas, I was already imagining like in my mind, it was already.
I love it. I love it. So what the next thing that we would love to see is once you've implemented these ideas, please share with us so that we can share with the folks that are viewing us now, so they can like see your overall journey. Um,
Definitely.
yeah, that'll be cool. So anything on your end?
Yeah, I think this was just a great example of, number one, I think you'll be spending a lot of time just really narrowing down chat here. Some of the stuff, it is pretty general. And that's how it always starts out. What ends up happening, I think, is going to start helping you generate ideas, and it's going to spark something in you, and you're going to give it additional prompts, and it's going to narrow things down to, whatever things you're liking, and things you don't care about, you'll disregard. But what I loved seeing there, Gabriella, is just how well it was able to unpack, right? I mean, you really just kind of gave it almost like a thought dump, right, of everything that was on your mind. And it understood it wonderfully, and it was able to unpack it and organize its own thought and break everything down into pieces. So I thought that was a great demo.
I really agree, Gabriela, because even though the aspect of it pausing and like when you were like, oh, it's thinking, and I was like, well, you gave it a lot. Like it even showcases the realism of, hey, like let's just say it had the information right away. It still took its time to say, like, let me give this some thought because of the complexity that you gave it. But it showcases that you can give it a full story, and like as Tog and yourself mentioned, is able to break it down in ways that now you can read through it and really understand, like, oh, I can have this section of my website just be focused on this. And let's say you wanted to ask it, hey, can you go deeper, because I want to build a page just for, let's say, the sustainability aspect or just for my customer reviews. It's able to do that. And it's great on the complexity on how it's trajectorying and how it's growing. And I personally, this was an amazing demo, and it just showcases from your point of view of how you can just speak to it, and it's able to grab you and answer back to you in the responses to help you grow. But this has been great. This has been great. Anything else, Gabriela, on your end?
No, it's a great tool for, as you mentioned before, personal, professional, and with our business. I think that this will accelerate a lot the economy, whoever adapts quickly. And I think I will recommend to special small business take advance that you are small, that you can leverage this or learn this, and apply right away to your business and understand. I like it, something that you mentioned before about the I remember the book, The Atomic Habits.
The Atomic Habit, yes.
Yes. So now I have to use it more frequently. I have to conversation more with ChatGPT, so it can help me in another things. Maybe in the financial, like give me a projection of based on my last year. What can we do, or things like that.
Agree. Or just, you know, it understands already what you sell, right? And like it, depending on the stories of the artisans, you can share the stories of the artisans and almost make projects around these stories, and have it recommend, you know, almost you and ChatGPT 4o can be now the projection of what comes out from Solano, right? And what would be great is like imagine you create the next product and you put there this, you know, this was between myself and 4o. And I think it would create a unique story behind that just because you're able to now bring AI to your art. And I think that that angle is an angle that is unique. It's Solano, and personally, I mean, I know it's just an idea, but I would be curious to see how that would look. I would buy it. So, would you?
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
I mean, you know, I think it's really important because it's so in this example here, and you may have mentioned this already, is that you know, it's really important to really share in these types of exercises, in these types of sessions. It's really important to share those values, right? The things that make you different, that you know is different from other brands. And the more you share about that, the more it's going to be able to tailor that for you. So, I mean, well done. I mean, it was a really great prompt. You know, I mean, I think there was some questions in the chat around, you know, this is a pretty long prompt, and that's okay. You know, as we all saw, ChatGPT 4o is able to absorb that and understand that and process that. So,
And the reason that was long is because I feel that I'm not projecting that to my audience. Like we don't have our mission in the website. We don't have a vision. Nobody knows that we have values. Um, Nobody knows like the difficulty sometimes to bring products, because I'm not projecting and I'm not taking videos on my trips, or when I go to the artisans, sometimes I go work, but I'm not thinking, okay, let me take a video with them to show them. No,
Mhm.
it's not in my mind. So now with these ideas, I needed just to, ¿cómo se dice? Desahogar with
Uh,
ChatGPT.
well, actually, ChatGPT can translate, but desahogar means to just oh, you got me switching my brain, to just to let go, right? To really project and just share, right? And we can say just open up, right? So like you're able to open up with ChatGPT 4o, and I think Gabriela, what it'll do is it will assist you in creating a list. So you can ask it, say, hey, I'm gonna go to Mexico next week. Can you build a list of things that you recommend I should do while in Mexico to improve my website, focusing just on my artisans? So that when you go, you at least have a list of, okay, create a 15-second video with your top five artisans, right? Or like, you know, and share it live there. Um, or for example, it recommended StreamYard, or it recommended something, do something live
Oh,
to
I know.
showcase, right? Like imagine you showcasing like how to set it up, how to set up Solano at your home, right? Like I think little details like that work perfectly, right? And I think the concept that you have now a list of things that you can do, and you when you go to Mexico, you can actually have, so that you almost have you were gonna have an assistant with you checking if you did it or not.
True. That's awesome.
So I think, should we open it up for questions? So I know that we've
Yes.
said a lot, and I know there's probably people that want to ask questions. So Liz is back.
I'm back. Okay. So I just want to add a little context because there is a lot in the chat from a technical perspective. And by no means, I will speak for myself. I am not an engineer. I am not an AI expert. I help small businesses and entrepreneurs. So that is really what, my goal is here for this workshop. But I do understand a lot of the questions are technical questions. And we said this in our last workshop that, we will answer as much as we can, but we can also point you to other resources. Or if somebody else has a resource, let's crowdsource it, put it in the chat. We are open to anything. So just want to put that sort of disclaimer out there. So I'm just going through these questions. We did put them through ChatGPT and it didn't really help very much in organizing them. So I'm just going to do this the old school way and start listing them off. Okay. So is GPT-4o the paid version of ChatGPT? There was a lot of questions around paid versus non-paid.
Yes, in order to get 4o specifically, you're gonna need the paid version. You're gonna.
But I think it's $20 a month, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yeah.
It's $20 a month.
Yeah.
And as you just saw, Gabriela was able to not only get fresh TikTok videos that if you call any marketing agency, that's 5,000 right off the bat. just for those 10 ideas. So I think personally it's worth the $20.
Yeah, people are saying it's cheap. Get it. I do believe that is a sound investment myself.
Yes.
And so the other question is around, again, a more technical question. So what's the difference between the mobile and the desktop experience for 4o? Is the audio, functionality that we showed today only available on mobile?
Yep. So right now to the public, 4o, that voice interaction is so we're using on mobile right now.
Correct.
For desktop, I'm not entirely sure if it's available, but they are rolling out in the future. There's going to be native apps for desktop and acting like companions while you're doing your work on your computer. Everything you do. Oh, go ahead, Jeffrey.
No, please. You were just going to say what I was going to.
I was just going to mention that any session that you do, whether through voice or text on your phone, it is going to transfer over to when you log in on the browser to your account on ChatGPT.
Correct.
Okay. So there's some questions around, the use case of using 4o to handle customer support on your website and to kind of be that customer service agent. What are your thoughts on that?
It's great. Yeah. So there's a lot of things, while we are doing a heavy demo around ChatGPT, and just to state out, this should have been stated out earlier, is that we're in no way affiliated with ChatGPT. We're not paid by them or anything. The reason why we're using ChatGPT as an example is because of just how accessible and how popular it is. Now, when it comes to customer service, there are lots of other AI tools for this, right? You can use ChatGPT in many ways for this, right? If someone has, if you need to create some quick responses, you can load it with, again, based on your comfort level, is you load it with with emails that you have and you want to generate some responses. One way to do it is saying that if you have a lot of types of emails, you can have ChatGPT assess all of the emails that you come in and generate general responses for each one. What you can do after that, for example, is I use a tool called Groove HQ. And this is where I do all of my customer support, all of my emails around questions around shipping, the product, etc. And within that tool, you can create these general response templates. And based on the kind of email that comes in, it just automatically responds with the appropriate response. So there's lots of ways to do this. I mean, we could spend a whole entire session on this, but that's just one example of how you can use it for customer service.
Yeah, I think maybe a customer service. And then there was just a question that came in on the other side of things around research. So, somebody has a body of research coming in through big Excel sheets with lots of data from surveys. So can 4o review these graphs and form a report, some kind of synopsis or executive summary, or, kind of create headlines and big sort of themes coming out of it?
Most definitely. And you can actually upload the Excel onto 4o, and ask it for exactly that, or literally share with it by voice what you're looking to do. And not only share with it, but also say, hey, how would you recommend to better this if I'm sharing it for an executive pitch, or I'm sharing it with my investor, or sharing it so that it can improve my business? What are best practices that others are doing that I can implement on this research? So, and I say this because you can ask 4o and say, hey, 4o, this is my prompt, but can you make this prompt better? Or what are others doing to make this prompt better? And it'll give you that prompt. And then you can say, can you use this prompt for, let's say, this particular research? So I hope that answered the question, not only from a perspective of, yes, it's able to analyze and is able to create different charts and able to segment your research, but you're able to also share best practices with it, so that what you think or what you have in mind can be improved even better.
And I just want to add to that.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to add to that, when it comes to these kind of things, because it can read different types of documents, PDFs, all of that. For me personally, I think that's one of the big bread and butters of ChatGPT. Not even 4o, I mean, just has been in general. And 4o is just a massive improvement from that. It is able to really synthesize all kinds of data, any kind of information. And when I say data, I'm not just talking about spreadsheets, right? Just like you said, research papers, PDFs, small white papers, all of these things. You literally just dump it in there, and it's going to be able to synthesize all of that.
So this is bringing up, we're talking about numbers, proprietary data, research. Some people are asking about adding financial data. So what are the privacy concerns, right? There have to be a lot of privacy concerns, because as some folks, I think Rosie is bringing up, a very valid point, that once you upload this data, it becomes part of the OpenAI data set, right? So it's out there. So what do you guys have any thoughts on sort of privacy concerns and how we can protect our data and our, privacy, or is it kind of, sorry?
I mean, I can...
share your thoughts on it. Yeah, I don't know that you would be an expert on what we should do, but how do you approach it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, because I'm a very, very heavy user of ChatGPT for my business, and I use it in many ways. And I think, what I've been sharing with, many folks is that some of these things that I do on it, others aren't very comfortable with. And I think that you're just going to have to make your own best judgment with that. Do I share some financials, some sensitive information on my side of my business? I do. I'm gonna be fully open about that. And I think that with anyone who's using any kind of cloud service or cloud platform, either Microsoft or QuickBooks, etc., your data is out there. And I'm not going to say one is more secure than the other, not by any means. But the risk is always there. If you are sharing data or uploading data, anything to the web, no matter how locked down it is, there's always going to be the risk. I mean, we see breaches every day. I'm sure many of you have been seeing these alerts on your phones about reused passwords or passwords at risk or whatever, and you're just like, you know what? I mean, if they have it, they have it. But I think everyone's going to make their own judgment for their own in their own situation.
Tog, you bring up a great point. And if we just take a step back as business owners, I don't believe it is to the practice of 4o, which is owned by Microsoft, right, to open up proprietary information. And what I mean by that is, right now, if I go and I say, hey, I want to know Toke's financial information, that prompt is going to be like, oof, I can't do that for you. I'm not able to do that for you. But if I say, hey, I want to understand how Anytongs, what is Anytong's best practice when it comes to sales, is able to analyze what is public. So what I mean by that is the information that you feed it, it's open to a certain extent, but what is open is what .com already has. And for example, Toge's financial information is not on .com. It is on 4o, and it is 4o best practice to keep it private. So yes, you can share information, but it's not going to share that information to the broader user of 4o. And I say this because it's when we put information into our cloud, into our Google, it's not like I can ask Google, hey, can you share an image of Liz? Unless Liz has made that image public on LinkedIn or Facebook or social media. So I personally think that what you share on social media is more public than what you share on 4o.
Hot take. I like it. It's true.
So that's my point out, that 4o is more private in that sense.
All right. So privacy is a concern, but you kind of just need to, well, you know, there's some things in the chat, some workarounds, running a RAG, retrieval augmented generation. Never heard of that, but.
With some hackers in here, like.
Yeah. Another question we have, I'm just going to keep going on here, is around video. So I know this whole, you know, we did the piece on video, but I think it was a little hard for people to see that Gabriela was sending links to create, to help create content, right? Videos. So 4o can create videos for social media for various content purposes. Can we just get a quick refresher on how you would go about doing this? Because some folks felt like the video prompt that came out of Gabriela's demo felt a little generic. So how would we maybe add some more specificity to get a more specific output?
As mentioned, you know, I think if the response is general, you know, and again, this is what Gabrielle had done was a live demo. You know, time permitting, there was only one prompt to be able to be done, right? Mm-hmm. So I think when you do get that general response or something that's a little generic, it's important for you to give it additional information, right? Something that's a little bit more specific. Your prompts have to be as specific, and that's going to be equated by the response that you're going to get. So that's really it, right? Just getting very, very specific, narrowing down, and drilling into something if you know the response isn't to your liking.
And so is it actually when we're creating the video, or is it actually reviewing existing videos? Can it do that? Review her existing videos on, say, like TikTok or Instagram? So
I don't think that it's actually watching the videos that she would have. It can view videos, but you do have to upload it manually. You've got to take these videos and upload it. And you know, I think right now it is a little buggy. There's very specific video formats that is able to intake and read. But you know, it's there. I don't have a lot of experience with that.
But I think most importantly was able to share new ideas on new creation of the video. Because I feel like we have to also understand that, you know, this technology, and this is where I want people to understand, like, this is not going to take over us. And the reason why is because look how we're mentioning issues or trying to have it solve problems, like making a video that's for us to do. It already shared the idea for you to grow curiosity around it. Now it's time for us to implement our brain power and our creativity and just grow that video. What it's able to do is able to expedite now Gabriela's point of view of saying, oh, I didn't think about that video. not like, let me now see how I can develop that. Like the development aspect is now up to you. And yeah, of course, like you have other tools you can use, but personally, I think, Gabriela, keep it just as simple as you've been keeping it by implementing these ideas, just how you've been developing other videos, because you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so, so in that sense, so if it's video or content, right? So, Chat GPT isn't going to, scour, are they going to like scour your website and say, well, some of these products that you're selling suck, you need to be moving on to something else, right? That's not necessarily, it's not going to be making those recommendations for you.
It could, if you implement, for example, your last year's sales, right? And I think that by you implementing your last year's sales, you can be able to understand what products sold during what month. And by doing this, you can be able to analyze, okay, what did I do during that month? Did I have an event? Did I share, did I do a promo via email or via social media that boosted up that particular selling product? For example, like I share with Gabriela that one of the ideas you can also do is have 4o analyze, who are your top like 5% of buyers, right? And like get them all together, right? And like from that, like who are the next maybe top 5%, and maybe get 2 or 3 of that 2% of 5% to come to the event to feel special and understand like there's a reason why we're buying this product. And I think by doing this, you're growing a community. But sometimes getting that information, you might just need to implement it into 4o and have it just say, hey, from my top buyers, what are top events that I can get together and do?
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to speed through all of these. I've got them queued up now. So what do you think is the best way to prompt Chat GPT? Or 4o? Do you want to, some people said, we should be asking it one question at a time, letting it learn and respond, or to do more of like, sort of like a dump of all the information you want it to know? What do you guys suggest?
My own experience here, depending on how you are interacting with 4o, if you are using the audio method, right? I think, I can't have that long dialogue embedded in me and speaking. So I'll just give it in pieces and chunks. And I like to either expand, points based on the questions that ChatGPT may return back to me and go that route. So I think it's really up to whatever you're comfortable with. And then if you're interacting with it via text through typing, I mean, I generally just give it the dump. I give it the whole shebang, everything. I don't worry about organizing my thoughts or structuring it or any of that. It does a great job and it does it for me. So you can literally just have thought dumps with it, and it comprehends very well.
Yeah, I found like both kind of work depending on what I'm trying to write or the content that I'm trying to create or whatever the purpose is, right? Sometimes I just have to do it. Sometimes I can have a better conversation. But yeah, so I think it's up to the user kind of. So another question is, this might be a little bit too specific, but I'm going to put it out there. How impactful do we think that ChatGPT, that 4o could be for healthcare? So diagnoses or prognoses of diseases by maybe showing some kind of visual. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't know, right? I don't want to be.
So it's like, I'll share just an example. It's like Googling an issue you might be having, and it just like blows up. Like it just finds. Personally, I think that's still up to unless you are in the practice and you understand the research, right? Or maybe you have a research paper that you say, hey, can you create a LinkedIn post on this research paper that implements the best values, right? By grabbing that research paper that you've read, first and foremost, and creating a LinkedIn post that keeps it simple for a human to understand on what is it about and what are the values and maybe what are the next steps it should take, I think it'll do a great job at doing that. Right. But
Yeah.
diagnose, like, that's my input on it when it comes to healthcare.
Right. So there's some kind of questions around analysis and performance of ChatGPT. You know, how does it compare to other platforms like a Claude 3.5 Sonnet? I've never even heard of that, but again, I'm not an expert. But what do we think of ChatGPT in terms of its performance, its accuracy, all those things? Are we comfortable with it? Have you looked at other platforms and kind of compared?
So in terms of as these different AI products are coming out, the products that are coming out, they are getting very focused on specifically things like, for instance, one AI tool, again, another tool that I use is 11 Labs, right? And what it does, it generates voices, right? Very realistic voices. If there are things that you don't want to speak to and you want to have an AI do it, you can do that. The other ways that I use it, and again, what I don't want to do, here is I don't want to, I know there's a lot of concerns around things like, the kind of like the ethics behind it, right? But I think where this is going is that, for instance, I can record my own voice, and what it does is that it mimics my own voice, right, and speaks to whatever script that I give it to them. So this really does help scale out producing content. So that's one way AI is being used. Another AI that's being used is that you'll have AI tools that are very specific around content writing, and they do that better, right, because they're very focused and narrow on that. And that's what they're training their products to do. So in terms of accuracy, again, ChatGPT is, again, in my opinion, the most accessible, the most popular, and it has got the broadest range. Yeah. So you're not going to get the most optimized content in ChatGPT. Other tools may be better because it's focused on that.
And I think I think about it from the business perspective or just the ecosystem perspective. It's the first mover, right? So when we think of it, like when Facebook came out, yes, there was already MySpace and other social platform, but Facebook was able to do something much more broader than the others. So others, what they might be doing is they might be segmenting, like for example, before PayPal or Airbnb came out, you had Craigslist, had it all, right? But then what happens is it starts to segment, and people, when you start to segment, you start to find more quality in that particular, because it becomes a niche. So I think over time, you're going to start seeing much better AIs that specifically focus, as Tog just mentioned, on voice, just voice, right? But we can have a whole nother event on implementing those top AIs once we start doing research and start understanding what are others that we can showcase.
Something I just want to really kind of endorse here is that I know, I'm just looking at the chat here. There is a lot of conversation around the technical aspects of it, right? Proper prompting, even how is it processing? Of course, data and security. These things are always going to be of concern. But I think what's going to be what's really important, what's been really helpful for me, is getting used to using something like ChatGPT-4o and bringing it into your workflow, right? Your normal workflow. Getting used to interacting with it. The more you use it, the more kind of creative ways that you're going to understand of how you might be able to leverage it. So I think the way I've been approaching this is not trying to understand all of the technical abilities of it, how the inner workings of it, how it generates these things, how LLMs work. It's really about how we are best able to just have this in our day-to-day. And again, it's if anyone had seen the latest Apple event, the WWDC, and how they've integrated AI into their products, that's exactly how I believe AI is going to be really just embedded in everything that we do. Right? It's not going to be this massive thing that's going to give you all of the answers. It's going to be spread out and sprinkled everywhere, so that no matter what you're doing in any small in any small situation, it's going to be there in that particular way to help you out. So I just wanted to kind of mention that there's an approach here, and it's important to just really kind of get used to interacting with it and getting friendly with it.
Yeah, and I think Christine put a really cool, and I think easy to understand way that she works with it in the chat. Folks should check it out. But so she prompts by saying, first telling it its role. So what is your job? You're the writer, you're the researcher, you're a brainstormer, you're a creative helper, whatever. Number 2, the skills. So what skills do you want it to do or have in this analysis? 3 is the data, provide it the data that it needs to consider. And then the 4, the task, tell it exactly what you want it to do. So providing as much detail as possible. I think that's great.
Absolutely.
And I feel like you're almost giving 4o its job role. Right?
You want it to think more on its own. Yes. Why?
That's very, very, very important.
So sorry, just want to get back to our questions here. So what are some ways that maybe we can do further research, or, Tog, you were saying, sometimes we just want things that are going to kind of help us scratch the surface, but is there any kind of research or resources that you've found, or folks, put them in the chat, to kind of build out these best practices on how to get the most out of the tool for your specific purposes, right? So my specific purposes might be completely different than somebody who's looking for how to diagnose, diseases or whatever. Like, what are some, maybe a place where we can start to sort of build out those best practices? Does anyone have an idea?
Well, I can tell you,
I'm coming to things like this, but
Yep. I'm going to be very honest with my process and my own experience. When it comes to best practices, I think it's still very early on. I think even on LinkedIn right now, so many people, so many companies, what we're seeing is this explosion of these, AI gurus, right? Where they say, I'm the AI whisperer, right? I know how to prompt these things. And, I think there's a lot of noise out there. Some of them are very valuable. Some of them are really credible. I think one of the things that Christine has shared in the chat there, there is a best practice. There is a good practice in terms of how you want to prompt them. You want to get very specific. Here's a great format. But in terms of my own experience, I'm very scrappy. I think no matter my own experience, no matter how I've approached ChatGPT, right? It starts off in all kinds of ways, right? I have no best practice. I come in there really random, and I just, again, thought dumps. And ChatGPT will naturally come back to you and try to, pull on that string and get more information. And what it always does is that it's always going to help me generate ideas of my own, right? Other ideas or things that I didn't think about. Right. Or bring up something that, oh man, I should have recognized this, but I didn't. So in that way, I think, again, I personally don't have any kind of quote unquote best practices. It's been quite, it's been very candid, I should say.
And Tok, I love that you mentioned that, because to me, the voice aspect has changed my whole perspective with ChatGPT-4o, because I'm now able to share what is my ultimate goal, like what is my vision, what do I think winning looks like, and I share that first, as in my perspective and what I believe winning looks like, right? And I say, now help me get there, right? And improve my winning. Like if you know of an idea, and you speak it to just how I'm speaking to you, if you know of a better idea than what I'm saying in order to get to that winning goal, please allow me to get there. For example, I also use it from a perspective of what tone, like who am I speaking to? Am I speaking to an analyst? Am I speaking to an intern? Am I speaking to an executive? Because that all depends on how long will that email look like? How long would that content look like? Or how to communicate to that person. And I think all of these things kind of come to be of what is that ultimate, like what is your ultimate goal? And by doing this, that's just one, like right there, you got two different strategies. But ultimately is like, how do you feel? Like, what do you want to get? Like, what do you want to do?
Absolutely. And, just kind of I know we probably have we've got more questions here, but I really just want to stress the fact that the more you use it, and it's really going to be the only way of how you're going to start really understanding how it's going to respond and what's going to be your approach and how you use it. The creativity part isn't necessarily around, okay, you know what? Let's say I'm now, I'm usually writing all this copy and I'm getting really creative in creating a particular content for something, right? Mm-hmm. Where your creativity is going to be focused on is actually how you use AI, right? That's the creativity part. How do you kind of manipulate the prompts? How do you, how would you use it in different ways, right? Even though you're writing, Gabriela had created content for our website, right? That can easily translate into things like pitch decks, sales sheets, all of these things. So first to mind we have in our memory right now is that, hey, look, if I need to figure something out or I need, template of something, what am I doing? I'm searching on Google or something like that, right? Well, that has entirely shifted because my first approach is always going to be ChatGPT. And that's generally my starting point these days. So thought I'd just share that.
It's going to eat Google for breakfast.
So Caesar, he just came into the chat saying we gave 4o student mind maps and asked it to evaluate the entrepreneurial mindset of students, gave it a very thoughtful response. It gave a very thoughtful response, but in a separate thread, we asked it again, same data, same prompt, and it gave a completely different answer. So do we think 4o is trustworthy yet as a research tool?
Well, go ahead, Jeffrey, please. I've been yapping for long.
So so when we think of trustworthy, right, we have to also understand that, it's only as good as what's out there, right? So is it able to analyze different biases? I say no. It has not gotten to that level of understanding different biases. But as you are reading your prompts and you're reading your response, you have to be able to analyze and be able to understand. Like, for example, Gabriela said she and then he, right? So that value for a woman is in Gabriela. So understanding that is the trustworthy aspect of it. So I come back to it because I'm very particular on this as well, of you have to be able to understand that the research that it might be giving you, you have to be able to analyze it and really understand what are your values and does it align with your values on that research. And by doing this, you can analyze and say, hey, 4o, I think that you're wrong here because of X, Y, Z, and it's able to then understand and learn from what you just said. But Tog, what's your perspective on it?
Well, I have to ask, again, this is something where people are going to experience it and people are going to have different experiences with it. But to Caesar's point, what was the actual conclusion different, or was the way it, explained the conclusion different?
Good question.
Right. So I want to first, that might be obvious, but I just want to be clear on understanding like what was different. I've personally given ChatGPT multiple prompts, and conclusions don't change. What changes and what the variation is the way it explains and provides that conclusion. That's interesting. That's interesting. Well, I mean, again, your mileage may vary. I personally have not experienced anything that random.
Fear of failure was different.
Interesting. Yeah.
So Rosie made a good point. You forget you're talking to a machine and it sounds like it's reasoning, but it's not. So every time you ask, it might give you a different answer.
Yeah. I don't think with anything, and I don't think any of us would be endorsing, whatever is provided is the answer, right? Is true and it's right. Everything here is basically you're experimenting with, right? It's giving you ideas and giving you great starting points and helping you summarize things, etc. So,
and based on what, like as Rosie said, it's basing everything on the instructions and data and contexts and contextual references that you're feeding into it. So that's important. And so Rosie also offered to do a prompt engineering session. So maybe that's another follow-up. I mean, we're getting into the weeds there, but it seems like people are kind of struggling with prompts. So any last questions you guys want to add into the chat? We have about 2 more minutes. It does not replace humans. That is for certain. Thanks for that. All right. Well, so if there are not any more questions, I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. These things are always an experiment in seeing how we can all come together and share information. What you guys are doing in the chat is amazing. You're meeting people. This is networking in the virtual sense. But I also just want to thank you all for being here. A recording of the workshop is going to be available on our YouTube page. Dana, we'll put that in the chat right now. Thank you, Dana. And also I just want to say, check out the chat for our social media handles so you can connect with all of us, stay up to date on all the amazing events and workshops we have coming up. Thank you, Togue, Jeff, Gabriella. We're just so grateful for you guys for being here today and sharing your wisdom and kind of walking through this journey with us hand in hand. We really, really appreciate your help. So thank you, everybody.
And just in case 4o is listening, let's thank 4o too.
Thanks, 4o, for listening. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Bye.